Steel walls gleamed under sterile light. Human banners stitched from alien silk hung like trophies. The room was too quiet, too heavy with conquest pretending to be elegance. His boots clicked, echoing like drums of ownership. Her shadow lingered at the edge, silent, waiting. "You polish silence as if it were silver," he said, voice sharp. "Do you polish the view as well? Or does the maid simply belong to the window she serves?" The words cut deeper than the smirk suggested. Pride glared from him, brittle and loud, as though he needed to convince even himself of victory. "The view requires no polishing." Her voice was measured, soft as a blade's edge. "But perhaps the man staring at it does." The air thickened. His laugh came fast, too fast. Her quiet returned slower, heavier, and sharper. Crystal glass caught the starlight, a fragile prism trembling in her hand. The wine glowed crimson, refracted like blood across steel walls. Every flick of her wrist carried grace too deliberate for servitude. "Your hands were made for service," he murmured, leaning back as if ownership was a chair. "For pouring, polishing, obeying." The liquid swirled, painting a circle of defiance against the rim. Her smile curved, precise, dangerous. "Hands were made for knives as well," she said. "Some hands pour, some cut." The glass tilted into his hand. The liquid quivered, as if unsure whether to stain or bless. He sipped with a grin too tight to hide the unease. "Knives!" His voice wrapped mockery and bravado. "You sound more like a soldier than a maid." "Titles are given by those who chain," she replied smoothly. "Meaning is chosen by those who hold the blade." Every sip became a dare, every glance a test. He swallowed more than wine. He swallowed challenge, unspoken but carved into the air. He laughed, sharp and brittle, pressing the word "maid" like a knife into her skin. "You carry towels, not titles. Maid suits you. Maid reminds you what was lost." Her posture didn't bend. The silence around her shoulders was armor. "Maid is your word, not mine," she said evenly. "My people called us watchers." He tilted his head, as if watching a puzzle refuse to solve itself. "Watchers of what?" he pushed, lips curling. "Of chains? Of lost empires?" Her gaze rose, steady, unyielding. "Of men who mistake laughter for victory." His smile faltered, just once, before he caught it. The laugh he forced out rang hollow, brittle like glass under pressure. Yet it lingered, desperate to prove something. For the first time, he wondered if she was mocking him, or if he was already mocking himself. And she merely let him. His eyes narrowed, his voice sharpened. "Why don't you flinch? Why don't you look away when I speak?" Her silence held too much weight, like a stone balanced on the edge of a blade. "Looking away is how chains are fastened," she whispered at last. "I would rather watch the hand that ties them." His jaw tightened. Pride cracked, subtle beneath the mass of dominance. The air shifted. Silence stretched long, pulsing. Her glowing eyes tracked every line of his face, not like a servant's gaze, but like a predator waiting for the right breath. He shifted in his seat, suddenly filling the silence with his own voice. "So, you think watching makes you free?" She didn't answer. The silence dragged longer, heavier, reversing the weight. And in that moment, the conqueror spoke to fill the void, because silence in her hands had already conquered him. He leaned closer, arrogance clinging like armor cracked at the edges. "Tell me, then. Whisper it. Confess obedience. Admit the chains fit." Her lips barely moved. The whisper slid between them like smoke. Humans never ask what chains are made of before they pull them tight. A chill cut through his spine. The cadence of her voice coiled around his chest like something alive. He forced a smirk. "Chains are chains. Strong or weak, they bind." Her eyes glimmered. "Only if they're iron. What if they're silk? What if they're promises? What if the chain is a hand that clasps yours until you realize it never lets go?" He swallowed hard. The wine burned now, heavier than before. "Careful," he muttered. "Your words are dangerous." Her whisper lingered, brushing his skin. "Dangerous words are chains, too. And you've already wrapped yourself in mine." For the first time, his bravado cracked wide. The heat in his chest blurred into something unsteady, half threat, half desire. Her silence afterward was sharper than her words. It left him trembling between arousal and fear, unsure whether she just surrendered or declared war. The orbital night washed the quarters in silver, cold light dripping across steel panels. Silence clung like frost, broken only by the faint rustle of cloth. She was already there, hands moving with ritual precision, folding garments as though the act itself carried weight beyond service. He stepped inside, boots cutting the quiet. Spying? His voice carried mockery, lazy but edged. Or are you waiting to serve in a different way? The folds continued, her rhythm unbroken. The faint glow from her skin marked each crease like a prayer. You step loud, she said softly, louder than your questions. His smile lingered, sharp. Then answer them, or is silence the way your kind surrenders? Her pause stretched. The room pressed closer, silence swelling thick. When she finally looked up, her eyes shimmered like blades catching light. Silence, she murmured, is never surrender. Sometimes it is the sharpest dare. The words lingered, heavier than footsteps, heavier than steel. He swallowed them like poison and found they burned sweet. The air carried something intoxicating, neither floral nor metallic, but sharp sweetness that didn't belong in sterile quarters. It wound around him, burrowing into his lungs. Perfume, alien and unsettling. Her posture remained upright, precise, too regal for a maid. Each line of her body rejected the label forced on it. He smirked, stepping closer, tasting bravado on his tongue. From behind, maybe? That's how your kind surrenders. Her gaze flicked toward him, quicksilver calm. Behind, she said, voice smooth as silk drawn over steel, is where the knife goes, not the lover. The words struck deeper than banter. The line he meant as crude humor now gleamed with lethal weight. His chuckle faltered. You think I'd fear your knife? His tone cracked like glass, covering unease with arrogance. I don't think, she answered, folding another edge with delicate sharpness. I know where knives belong, and I know where men leave their backs unguarded. He leaned in, tasting the edge. Careful, that sounds like threat. Or invitation, she whispered. He froze, scent thick in his chest. The sterile room felt charged, fragile. She hadn't moved, hadn't shifted an inch, and yet it felt as if she had stepped inside his breath, inside his skin. He inched closer. She didn't move away. Garments stacked neatly, each fold an angle of symmetry too precise to be casual. He frowned, noticing patterns emerge. Shapes like glyphs, sigils, meanings etched in ritual. You fold clothes like you're prepping for war, he scoffed, pretending to laugh. Careful, or I'll think you're sharpening shirts instead of serving. Her hands paused, fingertips grazing fabric with reverence. Every fold is a blade, she said softly. Every servant is a sentinel. The words slid into him, alien cadence wrapping truth in warning. He laughed louder, brittle. A sentinel? You're polishing laundry. Her eyes flicked upward, cutting. Do you know the first chain humans placed on us? They called our sentinels servants. They made knives into dusters. And they laughed while we carried a word. He swallowed, grinned stiff. You expect me to believe you're fighting with fabric? Fabric, she said, voice like smoke curling through steel, remembers the hands that bleed over it. Every fold is memory. Every crease. Oath. The silence following was weighted, pulling at him. The ritual was no act of service. It was defiance disguised as obedience. He tried to laugh, but the sound felt hollow. His skin prickled with the sense he'd stumbled blind into a ceremony older than conquest. His boots struck the floor, each step ringing louder than intended. The air shifted, charged, as though his approach triggered some hidden mechanism. Her stillness remained absolute, yet it vibrated like a spring wound too tight. If you hate serving, he demanded, standing over her, why don't you resist? Her breath ghosted the air, soft and sharp. Perhaps resistance is what I'm doing. The words slid into him, unsettling. He closed the gap, heat rising in his chest. That's not resistance. That's folding clothes. Her eyes lifted, burning with quiet fire. "And yet you step closer." He brushed near, his hand grazing the fabric she held. The thread shimmered faintly, strange light crawling across patterns. He felt a current pass through his skin. "You think silence frightens me? You think folding cloth is rebellion?" His voice cracked like whip, desperate for dominance. Her gaze didn't waver. "I think silence teaches men what they fear most. Themselves." His chest tightened. She hadn't moved, hadn't recoiled, and yet her eyes pinned him, steady as a predator weighing prey. "You're playing dangerous," he muttered. "Danger is how chains break," she whispered. For the first time, the line between captor and captive blurred. He towered over her, yet it felt as if he were the one pressed against the wall. His breath quickened. So did hers, though hers sounded more like control than surrender. His hand closed over her wrist. Warmth startled him. Alien skin thrummed, alive with a faint pulse not his own. It felt less like flesh, more like current. "You're steady," he muttered. "Not even a tremor." Her lips curved. Tremors belonged to those uncertain. He tightened his grip, half to test, half to prove control. "So tell me, do I hold you or do you let me?" Her breath brushed his ear. "You don't know if I let you or if you've already been bound." The words coiled, sinking deeper than touch. His chest hammered, pulse racing as unease spread beneath his bravado. "You're in chains," he snapped. "Not me." "Chains." Her smile widened, venomous and soft. "Perhaps. But what if the chain is your hand? What if you clasp it so tightly you can't let go?" His smirk faltered. The warmth under his palm now burned, strange, unsteady. "Careful," he whispered, shaken. "You're playing with fire." "No," she murmured, eyes catching his, holding him still. "I'm showing you who holds it." The silence afterward bit harder than her words. His bravado cracked. Desire tangled with dread. For the first time, he didn't know if he was conqueror or conquered. The mess hall reeked of recycled air and burnt protein rations, laughter sharp as metal scraping against metal. Human officers sprawled across steel benches, their boasts bouncing against the neon-lit walls. He moved among them with practiced ease, the scar on his jaw catching the flicker of fluorescent light. Pride carried his posture, but the shadows under his eyes betrayed sleepless nights. "Your alien maid's got you on a leash, doesn't she?" The mockery sliced through the chatter, followed by a chorus of chuckles. "Better a leash than chains rattling from fear," he answered, voice hard, words dragging a sting beneath the casual grin. "You say that, but I've seen how she looks at you. Cold eyes. Makes a man wonder who's serving who. She folds cloth. She breathes. That's all. Don't mistake your fantasies for mine." Laughter erupted, but his knuckles whitened around the steel tray. "Fantasies? Come on. That alien shadow of yours is playing you like a stringed instrument. You bark at her. She purrs back, and we all hear the leash snap. Maybe you hear what you want because silence scares you more than defiance." The remark landed harder than expected, cutting the laughter short. Pride pulled at him, but something else tugged stronger. He caught her gaze from across the hall. She lingered at the periphery, posture serene, unreadable. Her stillness mocked him louder than any laughter. Amusement or calculation, he couldn't decide. He smirked at his comrades, but the smile never reached his eyes. The sting of their words clung, fueling the fire waiting for her later. The corridor hummed with the ship's pulse, its vibration whispering through the soles of his boots. Another figure slipped past him, her garments brushing silk-like against his sleeve. Not his maid, another one. Alien perfume lingered, sharp as ozone yet sweet as decay. The whisper in that tongue scraped like ice against his ear. "If she resists, she dies. If she yields, so do you." He froze, words boiling in his throat. "What did you say?" The alien servant bowed her head and vanished into shadow. He stormed into her path. "Translate it. Now." Her gaze caught his, molten with restraint. "There is nothing to translate. Don't play riddles with me." What did she mean? "Some warnings are not meant for you." His jaw tightened. "You think I'll stand here, blindfolded, while knives hover at my back?" "You already stand that way." Every step. That whisper was a threat. Or a truth, which burns worse. He leaned closer, voice venom soft. If your people plan rebellion, You'll what? Chain me tighter? Strip ritual from skin and call it loyalty? The leash you clutch cuts your own hand more than my throat. Her words wrapped around him like smoke, suffocating yet intoxicating. The danger was bigger than their duel. Cultural stakes bled into cosmic ones. He pulled back, heart pounding. So which is it then? Seduction or execution? She smiled, faint and cruel. Perhaps both taste the same. The thought clung like poison, twisting hunger into unease. The tension cracked open later, words pouring sharp and fast. Are you slave or seductress? His demand carried the sting of accusation, a plea hidden beneath. Her reply coiled slow. To serve is not to kneel. To yield is not a break. Cryptic lies don't fool me, nor do they free you. Then answer, what are you? What are you, human? Conqueror with trembling hands? Master who needs his captive's eyes to believe in his power. His fists clenched. He could crush wrists, press her against steel, but her body never fought. Only her words resisted. You enjoy this game too much. Games are for children. This is survival. You call this survival? Folding cloth, biting your tongue, bow on command. Every fold cuts deeper than you see. Every silence screams louder than you hear. He swallowed rage, the taste bitter with desire. So you trap me with riddles. No, you walk willingly into the net, because my words offer more fire than your comrades' laughter. You think you have power over me? Power? No. Reflection. You only see what you fear most, that your leash ties both ends. Her defiance slashed sharper than any blade. He realized each syllable was a chain he could neither sever nor slip free of. The trap was her philosophy, and he was already tangled. Their shoulders brushed in the corridor, heat sparking under cold fluorescent light. His command spilled harsh. Obey. Command all you like. Her voice dripped silk over steel. I obey nothing you don't already beg for. You'll regret this insolence. Insolence. A low laugh escaped her. Chains taste sweeter when you beg for them. I don't beg. You already have. Her nearness coiled around him, intoxicating. He leaned closer, pulse quick. You're addicted to this dance. I'm addicted to nothing. Liar. Look in the mirror, human, whose eyes burn brighter now, yours or mine. The brush of fabric against his arm felt like fire. He told himself he could force obedience, but her defiance drew him sharper than submission ever could. He hated how right she was. He needed her refusal more than her consent, and she knew it. The chamber stretched wide, dim save for starlight spilling through the viewport like liquid ink across the floor. Silence swelled heavy, broken only by her voice. I'll teach you what my people mean by servitude, she murmured, but you must let go of yours. He scoffed. That's your bargain? Not bargain. Invitation. You think I'll surrender just because you whisper? You already surrendered when you asked me what I was. Conquerors don't ask. He barked a laugh, hollow. And what do you gain if I agree? Her smile flickered faintly. Dangerous. Freedom, perhaps. Or your ruin. Maybe both. And why would I accept terms that break me? Because breaking tastes sweeter when you call it choice. The words dug under his armor, cutting where no blade could reach. His breath hitched, hesitation betraying him. She tilted her head. So, what will it be, human? Mock me or dare yourself. He smirked, though it shook. Fine. Teach me. Show me this meaning you guard like sacred flame. Then the fire is already lit. You'll only burn deeper. Agreement slipped past his lips, but he sensed too late. He hadn't set the rules of this game. She had, and her rules bent men into shapes they didn't recognize until it was too late. The corridor narrowed again, hushed and dark. The heartbeat hummed the ship pressing against their bones. Their silhouettes carved shadows that moved like one. She leaned close, lips near his ear, voice threading into marrow of his pride. Behind you, always behind you, but only because that's where your shadow falls. The word struck harder than any blow. He had believed dominance as anchor, yet her reversal shattered it. His imagined control dissolved, leaving desire raw, unshielded. She was not walking behind him. She was shaping the ground beneath his steps. His pride cracked, splintered, and with it, the sharp truth. Every surrender to her burned sweeter than victory. Desire no longer felt like conquest. It tasted like surrender, inevitable, consuming, and is alone to bear. The hall pulsed with alien perfumes and the glitter of plasma chandeliers. Human officers strutted with their prizes. Alien companions dressed as trophies, each smile sharpened by conquest. He moved among them with his head held high, yet sweat prickled beneath the collar of his uniform. The woman at his side carried herself with such regal stillness that she seemed less servant, more sovereign in disguise. "Yours looks too proud," a colleague sneered, words heavy with drink and envy. "Break her or she'll break you." His smirk came too quick, too shallow. "You think pride bends steel? Watch closely. Even fire bows to iron." Laughter rippled, crude and expectant. Her eyes flickered like obsidian catching starlight. Not mockery, not submission. Something far sharper, a secret already written in the marrow of the moment. He felt the tremor of humiliation waiting to be born, yet forced his jaw into confidence. "Pour my drink," he said, voice ringing across the polished table. "Kneel while you do it." She glided with impossible grace. Crystal carafe in hand, movement so fluid they mocked the very command they obeyed. Her body folded low, but the elegance turned obedience in the theater, venom hidden inside silk. Gasps whispered to the guests, their eyes narrowing at the spectacle. The liquid trembled as it touched his glass, not from her hands, but from the hollow thunder in his chest. "You see," he forced out, raising the glass. "Even royalty learns posture in chains." Her lips parted, sound meant for no one else but him. "Careful," she breathed, poison sweet. "You're the one kneeling." He almost dropped the glass. A bead of sweat traced his temple, hot as iron. Around them, laughter swelled, but it felt distant, blurred by the whisper that had sliced straight to his pride. "Say it," he demanded, breath heavy, words falling sharper than he intended. "Say, I own you." Her smile curved, dagger thin. "If you own me," she said softly, "you would not be begging." The wine soured on his tongue, salt of shame rising faster than he could drown it. The chandeliers glowed above, yet every shimmer felt like heat pressing down on his back. His pulse thudded louder than the hall's laughter, each beat a reminder how hollow the chains of command could sound. He leaned in closer, searching for the kiss that would silence her defiance. The air tightened between them, her breath warm, her gaze locked. "Do it," he growled. "Kiss me. Prove yourself." Her tilt was precise, just enough for her lips to linger on the edge of promise, never landing. "No," she whispered, steady as a blade. "You prove yourself." The denial burned hotter than touch. The laughter that erupted around them stripped him bare, but her stillness cut deeper than ridicule. He was naked not in flesh, but in pride, bare before every gaze in the chamber. He lashed forward, desperate to seize control, to twist the rhythm back into his favor. His hand caught her arm, guiding her body into motion meant to humiliate. But every gesture turned traitor. Her grace reshaped his strength into choreography that made him look the one performing. His dominance bent under the weight of her poise, until each step betrayed him. Her voice coiled through the spectacle, velvet wrapping steel. "Behind you," she purred, slow and lethal. "Always behind you. But it is your shadow that serves me." The hall hushed. Even the air held its breath. In those words lay the consummation, not a conquest, but reversal. Heat coiled low in his chest, humiliated or pressing against his ribs. What he thought was triumph had transformed into entrapment. The crystal slipped from his hand, shattering against the polished floor. Shards glittered like fallen stars, the sound cutting deeper than laughter. Pride bled invisible wounds, and the gasp of the audience sealed them open wider. Her lips curved again, not in kindness, not in cruelty, but in coronation. She leaned close, whispering with venom soft as silk. "Your leash." Her breath ghosted his ear. "It is wrapped around your throat, not mine. No chains clinked, yet he felt their weight heavy as the galaxy. No collar shone, yet its bite burned sharper than steel. He swallowed, but the taste was ash, bitter truth laced with the sweetness of defeat. And in that silence, in that ruin of pride, he understood her seduction was never submission. It was coronation, and he was not master, but offering. The laughter of officers still haunted the corridors, metallic echoes chasing him like hounds. Pride lay in shards at his feet, sharp as broken crystal. The wine glass he still clutched caught faint reflections of plasma light, stained the rim as though even the drink mocked him. His collar was stiff with dried sweat, his pulse slower now but no steadier. She moved beside him in silence, not hurried, not ashamed, almost regal in the aftermath. You made me their joke. Her voice was calm, sculpted from ice. I only let them see what you offered. His jaw tightened, rage chewing against a humiliation that burned hotter than any wound. He wanted to strike, to silence, to reclaim something stolen. Yet her restraint, her composure, stoked the fire in ways he could not name. The silence that followed was sharper still, daring him to chase, to retreat, to decide whether the scar would remain open or sealed by his own cowardice. He walked faster, boots ringing against steel, but she kept pace without effort. The ache in his throat became words before he could stop them. Was any of it real, or just theater? Her breath brushed near his ear, deliberate, intimate, venomous. Every chain is chosen, even yours. The sentence struck like a blade slipped beneath armor. His jaw locked until bone creaked. Fingers clenched until veins rose pale beneath skin. The humiliation deepened, layered with something worse, recognition. She was not prisoner, not plaything. She had inverted every link he thought he held. You think I chose this? The growl came raw, uneven. You think I bent willingly? You built the stage. You handed me the script. You want an audience. Her lips curved in something that might have been a smile, might have been cruelty. Do not flinch when I play the role too well. His chest tightened. Each word bound him, not by force, but by mirror. Consent twisted into mockery, and he realized the cage around him had his own fingerprints in the metal. Faint marks circled his wrist where her grip had anchored him. His uniform collar clung damp, the scent of sweat clashing with sterile steel. He rubbed absently at his skin, at the ache that lingered like an invisible chain. Souvenirs. His tone dripped with bitter sarcasm, or warnings. Her eyes dipped to the marks, and the faint smile returned. Both. Beauty is sharper when it cuts. The words slid into him, unsettlingly true. Scars had always been proof of survival, metals etched in flesh. Yet now the bruises pulsed with meaning. He couldn't decipher. Intimacy, domination, confession. His own body carried her mark, and instead of revulsion he felt tethered. You brand me and call it beauty, he muttered. Her gaze did not falter. You keep the brand because you want it. The silence that followed swelled heavy. He could not deny it, not to her, not to himself. The truth burned hotter than shame, for his body had betrayed him long before his pride admitted it. Command decks murmured with whispers that spread faster than orders. Officers smirked behind datapads, etching jokes into the margins of reports. Reputation, once armor, now felt porous, riddled with cracks too wide to conceal. Every step through the halls weighed heavier, as though eyes pressed from all sides. A colleague leaned in with poisoned humor. Careful, Captain. Your maid holds the leash now. His teeth ground as he snapped back, words spitting more venom than steel. Yet the laughter around him confirmed what he feared most. The insult was too close to truth. Every denial, every bark of command, only thickened the air of ridicule. She watched, silent, unmoved, as though savoring the theater he never meant to stage. Her stillness was unbearable, more piercing than their laughter. He wished she would speak, mock, or strike. Anything but stand as quiet witness to his unraveling. The silence between them twisted like rope, a chain more visible than any collar. And in that silence, he realized the humiliation was no longer his alone. It was theirs, a shared stage neither could abandon. The walls of silence finally cracked. His voice came raw, stripped of pretense. You're not a servant. Her smile flashed sharp, unflinching. No, I am your rival, your partner, your lover, your jailer. The words slammed into him, collapsing categories like broken pillars. He felt his chest tighten, not from fear, but from a wire pulled taut, vibrating between them with unbearable tension. Rival, partner, lover, jailer. Each word a blow, each word a caress. You can't be all of them, he whispered. I already am. Her tone was not boast but fact, as immovable as stone, as seductive as flame. And you will not untangle me. His pride trembled on a cliff's edge. He wanted to fight, to deny, to tear down the web she spun. Yet another voice in him whispered treachery, that he no longer wished to, that the chains, chosen or not, fit too perfectly to abandon. The truth landed slow, merciless, sweet. He no longer wanted freedom. What he wanted was her, in every role, every contradiction, every wound she carved into him. Pride collapsed, desire ascended, and in the wreckage he found no victory, no defeat, only surrender. Artificial night draped itself against transparent walls, stars flickering like wounds stitched into black. The chamber was hushed, the kind of silence that suffocated more than soothed. His shoulders hunched, pride raw, breath shallow as though the cosmos itself pressed closer. A glass shimmer between them, surface catching stray light like a lure. Another toast to my shame? His mutter rasped, bitter as ash. She offered it without a word, a smile curving like a blade sheathed in velvet. The crystal glinted like a trap, her fingers brushing his with weight that could have been accident or ambush. He could not decide which burned worse. She leaned close enough that her breath stirred the edge of his ear. Behind you, always, but only so no one else can touch your back. His gut twisted, a knot of instinct and longing. The line coiled around him like armor and chain in one. Was it devotion? A vow? Or was it simply a warning disguised as tenderness? His body could not tell the difference, and his pride dared not ask. That sounds less like comfort, he forced through clenched teeth, and more like captivity. Her voice lingered like smoke, perfume impossible to disperse. Perhaps both. Perhaps that is why you breathe harder now. The drink shimmered, liquid alien in hue, sweet with ozone and memory. It glowed faintly as though alive, pulsing like a heart captured in glass. He lifted it, knuckles pale, nostrils flaring at the scent that threatened to drown him in curiosity. If it kills me, his tone wavered between defiance and hunger, I'll haunt you. Her eyes caught the starlight, endless pools of knowing. Good, then you'll never leave. Each swallow seared his throat, every taste a surrender, every burn a dare. Was it victory? Was it poison? Or was it something crueler? Something he wanted regardless? A laugh tore from him, hollow and bitter, filling the chamber like a wound. I don't even know if I'm prisoner or partner. She tilted her head, expression poised between cruelty and affection. Perhaps you're both. Perhaps that's why you stay. His pulse thundered, louder than reason, heavier than fear. The realization carved itself into him. He wanted the chain, even if it burned. Especially if it burned. Freedom no longer tempted. It tasted bland next to the fire she offered. Her gaze pinned him harder than iron. He did not fight it. He never would again. The glass emptied in his hand, stars beyond smearing into silver wounds across the void. The chamber blurred at the edges, reality twisting, as though the drink had bent not only body but fate. Breath hitched, mouth dry, but his voice clawed its way out. What did I just drink? Hoarse, uncertain, stripped bare. Her smile was the kind that suggested the universe whispered secrets only she could hear. A beginning. The words cut deeper than any blade. Poison, bond, vow. It no longer mattered. He could not tell if he was stronger, weaker, or simply hers. Perhaps that was the point.